What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, man? It's Said from Said Talks TV. Big Said that is, you dig? And man, we back at it again, bro. And today we're gonna be talking about why are people so weak, man? It's been some things going on right now in the country and all over the world that really had just been a surprise, but they haven't been surprising. You know, it's 2025. We in December of this 2025, and we had a shooting in Australia. We had a shooting at Brown University. We had some lady in Georgia got hit with acid. And it's just like, why are people so weak? Why are people so ready to crash out and throw their lives away or ruin somebody else's life? For what, man? Like, for what? What's the reason? Why? Is it the lack of fathers growing up? Is it the overprivilege of people growing up to where they ain't never been through nothing, to where once they finally come into something, it's everything but positive for them? It's everything but a building block or a stepping stone. Why are there instructions to cause destruction? I don't understand it, man. It doesn't make any kind of sense. And it really makes the men of today, it makes us look a certain way, because it's like we got certain jokers out here that are willing to do the most atrocious things for no reason to people who did nothing to them, to the innocent. You know, women and children and the innocent are off limits in all walks of life for the most part. And it's like, what are you gaining out of this? Because a lot of this stuff is not, it's not tied into a religious following. It's not tied into any type of spirituality. It's not for a higher cause. It's just demonic, bro. It's straight up just demonic. It's evil and it's sad. And it's been talked about in the last days that things would be like this. But for the people to commit these type of atrocities, you got to look at them as nothing more than demons. Nothing more than workers of the devil, man. Because And I know it's a lot more that goes into that than just that. But at the same time, when you allow a evil force to use you in such a negative way, how else can we look at you? You know, we don't get to hear your story of, you know, whatever happened as far as whatever was going on in your life at that time. You know what I'm saying? And there's never no excuse, but we're not going to get the opportunity to hear what led you to go ahead and do these things that you did to ruin your life. And quite frankly, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? When you do these type of things, we don't care. But not only do we not care, we don't have the opportunity to find anything else about you, because this is how you're going to be remembered. This is the rest of your life. You're going to be the person who did this, that, and the third, you know, who harmed another innocent person, you know, who was on the news looking crazy, looking like something out of a horror movie. You know, it's just really sad. It's really disappointing, man, because as much as we've gone through, as much privilege as we have compared to people who came before us, no matter what you look like, at the end of the day, we're all blessed, man. We're all blessed. There's always something more out there. It's always something more to go get. It's always something more to go achieve. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for growth. And anything that you're going through, God can pull you through that, man. You don't have to be out here doing these evil things, you know, for what? What's the point? What's the cause, man? And it's like, I understand it's a different motive when it's someone who's impactful, or it's a martyr, or somebody who had a big voice, and your goal is to silence that voice. That's evil and that's wrong. But when it's an innocent person that nobody knows, it's like, what are you really doing? Are you really just that demonic to where you're out here just harming an innocent soul or innocent spirit for no reason? See, it's different when it's somebody who has a voice and you don't like that person, and the spirit of evil fills you up so much because this person has a voice and is speaking their truth and is influencing people to go in a certain direction that you don't agree with, right? But it's a whole nother thing when it's somebody who don't have nothing to do with nothing, who's just jogging in a park, who's just attending a college university, who's just on a beach, soaking up the sun, having fun, and you and your dad are out here with rifles shooting at people. It doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. And you're throwing your life away for what? No, not everybody's going to be, Mario Luciani. Not everybody's going to have, people sending in letters and things like that. That guy, Luigi, thought that, he thought that he had a greater cause, right? Wrong, nevertheless. But at the end of the day, the things that we're seeing now are completely contrary to righteous, and there's really no point. You can't put a finger on it and say, oh, well, according to his crazy mind, his motive was this, that, and the third. No, there's no reason for it other than just being a loser, other than just being lame, other than just being emotional, other than just being a sucker, other than just being a dummy, other than just being, a sidekick for Satan. That's really all that these people are when they do these type of things, man. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I think a lot of times, people try to glaze over it and say, oh, well, they have mental health problems or this, that, and the third. And it's like, man, when you've had mental health issues, you understand that, hurting other people is not the first thing on your mind. A lot of times when people have mental health issues, they want to hurt themselves because they don't understand how they can get out of this hole. There's no empowerment in hurting other people. That's not real empowerment. That's not real. There's nothing real about that, man. There's nothing real about that. And I think that it's kind of crazy. Like, you look at these movies like Higher Learning, where you had the shooter. And it's like this stuff is coming to pass today. That was a movie from back in the 90s. And today we're still seeing, we're seeing that in real time. On multiple occasions, we're seeing that in real time. It's almost like the things we put in movies, we're showing them to you so you can be prepared ahead of times for when it happens. Similar to The Simpsons, where The Simpsons are showing you a whole bunch of different things that are happening in the future. And everybody's like, oh, wow, The Simpsons really got some game. The Simpsons really time traveling. You dig? The Simpsons is really, looking up some esoteric knowledge or some biblical knowledge and really predicting the future. Wow, they're really looking at prophecies. Oh my gosh, they're the modern day Mayans, the cartoon, they're looking at cartoon indigenous calendars, and it's like they're showing us what's going to happen before it happens. So pay attention. Pay attention. Really lock in, man. Really lock in, man. And when it comes to this content, I'm really going to lock in this week, man, throughout these holidays, and really come at y'all and kick the door down with some more content, man. But, the simple fact of the matter is that you have to protect your loved ones. The ones that you hold near and dear to your heart, you got to take care of them, and you got to stay prayed up. You got to stay prayed up, and you got to make sure that, the people that you care about are, where they at. In times like this, it's okay to be overprotective. It's okay to call 2 and 3 times to check on someone that you care about who's going through something. It's okay to put it all on the line to make sure that that person that you care about is all right. Because in times like this, we really just don't know. You really just don't know when it's going to be the last time that you talk to somebody or when it's going to be the last time that you see a loved one. You know, and it's sad and it's atrocious, man. And I hope that they throw the book at these people, because the things that they're doing out here, there's no reason for it. There's no reason for it, man. It doesn't make sense. It don't make them no money. It's not really getting them no popularity. It's just evil. And I hope they throw them under the jail, because they've thrown people in jail for much less, for things that are legal now. So let's make sure that we do the right thing and get these people under the jail. Let's put these people behind bars and lock them up, man. Real talk. And I never am the type of person to sit up there and say lock a motherfucker up. But I'm just saying, when it comes to hurting children, shooting innocent people on intentionally, we're intentionally shooting people intentionally. You know, we're intentionally harming people intentionally. We're intentionally causing harm to innocent people intentionally for no reason. They need to have, they have to reap what they sow, and they have to get their consequences. Because there's been a lot of circumstances, unfortunate situations where people, you know, get a life sentence and it's taking penitentiary chances for things that are nowhere near, that are not harming people, you know, for being at the wrong place at the wrong time, for hanging out with the wrong friends, you know, because someone made up an allegation or lied on them or whatever. But when it comes to this type of stuff, when it's clear-cut proof that you're an evil person, we need to put you in there with other people. We need to throw you in the lion's den. Yeah, we need to throw you in the lion's den, and we need to throw you in the jungle, and we need to see if you can survive. And if you can't survive and or thrive, then guess what? We just gonna leave you in there until your days is over with. Because this type of stuff, man, it just needs to be. We need to set an example. We need to set an example, because we have more access to technology, to weapons, to resources, to where if somebody with resources wanted to do something atrocious, it's very easy for them to do it. It's very easy for people to be evil. It's very easy to throw your life away for nothing. So examples need to be made, for sure. And as far as with the Brown University shooter, my sources are telling me that they caught him. Well, somebody caught him. It wasn't law enforcement. But they picked his body up. The street sweepers came and they got him together, you know. But, you know, that's not going to take back the lives that he took. That's not going to take back, you know, the harm that he caused. Same with the people in Australia, with the father and son. And this is why it's so, and when it comes to this father and son in Australia thing, this is why it's so important to teach the right information, to not preach and teach hate, to teach love, to teach understanding. And everything that we do, we should be getting understanding. To teach strength, to teach honor, to teach discipline, to teach character. Talent's going to take you somewhere, but your character is going to keep you there. And when you're raised up, it says to train up a child. When you train up your child in the way that they should go, those things are going to stick with them. But a lot of this comes back to bad parents, and a lot of this comes back to, you know, negligence as parents. And when you got the dad out there doing the same thing as the son, it's like the son has been led astray by a false prophet to sit up here and think that that's what he needed to do. To sit up here and think that this is his life's achievement. A life achievement to be evil, not to be successful, not to be intelligent, not to be strong, not to be a conqueror, not to be resilient, but to just be evil and just to be lame, just to be stupid. To just be stupid. That's a legacy, to be stupid. Father and son of stupidity. What a waste. What a waste. So we got to start moving and grooving and paying attention to what's going on when we out and about. Paying attention to what's going on, never being too cautious, always having your head on a swivel like Tom Brady in the playoffs. Got to. Because things are going on around, and if you're not paying attention, you could be going down with the things that's going on around. You don't want to go down. You don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, somebody that's on the news and have your family crying for you and be a victim, man. So pay attention. Stay prayed up. You know what I'm saying? Scope things out. Be aware. Don't be careless. Don't be out here just, you know what I'm saying, just out here under the influence of things. Don't be out here under the influence of things and be outside and you know, not have your right mind. Never be moving in a fast lane with something that's going to slow you down. You dig? Never be moving in the fast lane with something that's going to slow you down. Okay? Y'all know what that means, man. So you got to be careful. Life is too precious and you only get one. And it's wild that people would throw all that away for what? For what, man? I don't understand it. I don't plan on understanding it. And I rebuke it and I pray against it. Because quite frankly, it ain't nothing in the world that's gonna bring them people back with their families. And we have to be careful of the things that we make okay, the things that we, you know, allow to teach, the things that we, you know, normalize, you know, normalizing men having ultra emotional behavior, normalizing crash outs, normalizing, you know, all those type of things that cannot be normalized, because what happens is you run across a person who doesn't have the structure, who doesn't have the guidance, who doesn't have the leadership to where in a situation, when a situation comes about, this person doesn't react in a way that you would consider to be masculine, or in a way that you would consider to be intelligent. They react like somebody's baby mama from the ghetto. They react like, you know, the best definition of a con man. They react like a fool. They react like a clown. They react like a jester. So the teachings are some of the most important things that we can pass down. Pass down land, pass down resources, but the most important thing that you can pass down is the information, because the information and the way that you went and got it is the same way when you pass that information down is the same way the next generation is going to be able to go and get it. That's the same way they're going to be able to go and get it. A lot of times from one generation to the next, wealth is not always properly transferred because they're not laced with the information. They're not giving the information that's really going to propel them to that next level. The information that really made their father who he was, made their grandfather who he was. They just got the pretty house, the nice car, in an arranged marriage, and now they wonder why 30 years down the road they lost their fortunes. Why did they lose their fortunes? Because they didn't have fortunate minds. Their minds were not fortunate. Their minds were not abundant in intelligence. They weren't exceptional thinkers. You have to be an exceptional thinker in today's world. And in life, period. Be exceptional in everything that you do. Be true in everything that you do. Be real in everything that you speak. But most importantly, be a man, be aware, and have a plan. And react accordingly. Respond intelligently. Don't react emotionally. A lot of times you could just walk away in different situations. But when you see things like these are buildups. These are constant neglect, constant wrong teachings, constant emotional behavior that is accepted and allowed to be perpetuated in a person and built up to a point where now this is okay. This is not just something you wake up and you just go do. This is the way that you train up a child and the way that they should go. This is the opposite of that. It's still training up someone, but in the way that they should not go, in the way that God would not want them to go, but the way that an idiot and an evil spirit pushes you to go and maneuvers you to go. Because you can be trained to do a lot of things. And the worst of all is being trained to do evil or being trained to be stupid. So I think, we really got to be careful what we're teaching. We really got to be careful what we're preaching. And we got to be preaching the right message and the right things that are going to empower people. And the things we're seeing right now are not empowering, man. They're not empowering at all. But we're going to come with it. We're going to continue to come with it, stay consistent with it, and continue to push on forward through this because guess what? Some people got to be inspired. There's people out here that need to be inspired, people out here that are going down and through a depression and a mental regression, you know what I'm saying, me? And they're not really getting everything that they can get out of life. And when they go see God at the end of their days, they look at what they could have been, look at where they are, and they see that, you know what, they could have done a whole lot more. So that's why we're going to keep on coming with it. We're going to keep on kicking down the door. We're going to keep on preaching this inspiration. We're going to keep on bringing the motivation all day, every day, 7 days a week. Not 7 days a week, but we're going to stay consistent with it. You dig what I'm saying? And eventually, we can endeavor to get to that point where we're consistently doing the thing like that every day. Right now, we're not at that point, but we're gonna continue to build up to a point where that is something that we're endeavoring to do. Okay, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, man. Stay positive, stay motivated, stay working hard, stay dreaming, stay writing down your goals, man. And we out. You dig?